Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with the second wedding card that I have to make for a wedding that my husband and I have to attend. So today's cartridge, we will be using the Wrap It Up cartridge, the Paper Lace 2 cartridge, and the Sweethearts cartridge. So what does our card look like for today? Now this is not a quick and simple and easy card. There is a lot of paper piecing involved. But this is the card that we'll be making today. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so I'm going to bring up the supplies so we can get started on this card. So now this card is not a simple one because there's a lot of paper and piecing involved, and I've kind of gone ahead and done the paper piecing ahead of time just because my last wedding video did take me a while and I had to do a lot of editing because I was piecing everything together as I was shooting the video. So I decided to make this one a little bit quicker and go ahead and piece everything together first. But I will go over what you'll need to do and how you'll need to cut everything. So let's start with the card itself. So the card measures 10 inches by 6.5 inches, and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 6.5 by 5 inch card. And my next layer that I'm going to lay on top is this piece. And this is a piece of the Paper Studio cardstock. And this piece measures 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. I'm sorry. This piece measures 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. I forgot to write my measurements on the back, so I had to check my notes real quick. So I'm going to add this here, and I'm not going to ink my edges on this one. So let's get out our ATG gun, and we'll get this piece onto our card. So I'm going to get my tape all the way around, and then across. So let's add this by opening up our card, and we'll add this layer. So this piece is going to lay like so. So now, my next piece, what I've done is the colors of, I'm not sure, once again, what colors are her colors for her wedding, but I thought I'd work off the invitation, and this is the colors that is in the invitation. And I did not have any cardstock, basically, that I wanted to use that had those colors in it. So I decided, rather than running to Michael's, because I'm trying not to buy anything for the next few months anyway, I decided to make my own cardstock color. So what I've done is I took my Copic marker and I used the Magentanite. It's YG11, and I airbrushed some white cardstock with that color, and then I took a stamp, and I believe this is just one of the dollar stamps that, or I'm sorry, not the dollar stamp. This is a stamp I picked up at Michael's, and it's a Hampton Art, and it basically, sorry for that glare, it looks like this. And I stamped this out using Versa Magic chalk ink. And this color is aloe vera. So I just colored my stamp with that, and then I stamped the page all the way around. And this is what I came up with. So I thought, rather than me going out and buying some cardstock to match the invitation, I just make my own. So this piece measures 6 inches by 4.5 inches, And what I'm going to do is, I wanted to make something to look like an aisle runner on my card. So I've taken this piece of cardstock, and this is just some white cardstock. And I've taken my Martha Stewart ribbon loop punch and just punched out on each end, on this side and this side. And then I've taken these Prima Bling and put this in the center. So this is going to act as like an aisle runner. So when I cut this piece 6 inches, but what I'm going to do is, actually I think I cut this 6 1/4 inches. I'm going to wrap this around this piece. So I want to have that lining up right there. So I'm going to get some tape on the back of here. And I think I'm going to use my Tombow for this. And just run this across like so. And I'm going to move my card out of the way just for a minute. And I'm going to line this up and place this about right here. And I'm going to press down. And then I'm going to flip this over. And I'm just going to get some tape along the edge here and fold this down. And then we'll snip those loops once I get this fold over on the other side. So we're going to just fold that over like so. And I'm going to snip this one little piece, and then we'll snip off our loops just so they'll be even on the edge there. So I'm going to come over here and cut this one off and cut that one off. So there we have it. So now we're ready to add this to the base of our card, and it's going to lay like that. So let's get some tape on the back of here, and I'm going to get my tape all the way around once again, and then across. And I've said before, I know it looks like I use a lot of tape, but I always want to make sure that my things stay adhered to my card. So now I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to press that down. And it looks like I'm going to just take my Tombow really quick and adhere this down so that it stays flat and adhere to the card. So there, now we have our little, what I'm calling an aisle runner. So now I want to go ahead and add my corner pieces. And I've used this in the previous wedding card that I did. And these are going to go in the corner right here. So let's talk about the cartridge that I got those from. So these are from the Sweethearts cartridge. And let's see, I'm going to pull out my Gypsy real quick so I can see what page they're on. They are, actually, I'll look at my notes. They are on page 78. So let's go to page 78. And they look like this. So what I've done is I've cut out the shadow. And I've cut that at 1 3/4 inches. And then I've cut out the corner itself at 1 3/4 inches. So now on your Gypsy, let's bring that up, and we'll go to the Sweetheart cartridge, and so what you're going to do for your shadow, you're going to hit the shadow button, and then you're going to hit key 47, and this is what you'll get. And then for the layer, or the layer on top, you're going to hit just key 47, and you're going to get this. And you'll cut that at 1 3/4 inches. Now this is some fine intricate cut here, And I don't know if it was the paper that I was using, but I did have to cut this more than once to get it the way I wanted it. And I also think it was because I cleaned my mat and re-stickied my mat, and my mat may have been too sticky for the cardstock. And this cardstock is just some of the Georgia Pacific cardstock that I picked up at Walmart. And the cardstock below here is the cardstock from my layer right here, which is some of the Paper Studio textured cardstock. And that Paper Studio paper is a Hobby Lobby brand. So I'm just get some glue on the back of here because I'm not going to pop these up, because I have other things on my card that will be popped up, so I decided not to pop up my corners. So we'll go ahead and we'll add the second one. And I'm just using my Tombow adhesive to do that. And we'll go ahead and add our second one. So there we have it. So now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to add, or just lay out, the rest of our pieces. So we're going to lay out our bride and our groom. And this is what I was saying that was paper piecing. And I decided to do this ahead of time. So this is my bride, which I'm going to put as if on the aisle runner. And this is my groom. And I'm kind of going to put these a little close together, like so. And then what I've cut out is the words, the groom. So let's lay those out. And I will talk about everything and what cartridge I got it from and so forth. So this is going to say the groom right here. And then we're going to put the bride over on this side. I'll move that up just a little bit. Okay, and then the last thing I'll be adding on the front of the card is we're going to add this bell with these sprays, and they're going to be up top here, but I'm not going to put those down just yet because I need to cut those off. So let's talk about, or let's do our wording first so that I can make sure I get this on to fit. So now the bride wording is from the Sweetheart cartridge as well, and it is on page 58. So let's go to that page, and it is this right here. Now this also cuts very fine because I had to make it fit within my card here. So I know it may be hard to see. Let's see if I turn off. Oh no, that doesn't do any good. But trust me, it's there. I'll bring it up closer once I have it glued down. But what I did was I cut everything out using white cardstock. And then I took my Lizyjose watercolor paints and I colored in the words the bride and the words the groom, because I didn't have the color cardstock that I wanted. So when I don't have what I need, I usually just take white cardstock and I go ahead and color it using Copic markers, my Bic markers, or I use my watercolor paints. So let's go to the bride. And that was cut at, you're going to take your aspect ratio off. So you're going to need to take this button off right here. And the height is 1 1/4 and the width is 1 3/4. And I had to do it like that because I wanted to make sure that it would fit within. So I'm just going to blow that up real quick so you can see what I did right here. And this is the bride, and I did the same thing for the groom. I cut them at the same width. Okay, so as far as the keys, The bride is key number 27. So let's go to that one. And it looks like this. And you're going to hit your shift lock to get the bride. So you'll hit shift lock and then the bride. And then for the groom, you're going to do the same thing, except you're going to hit key number 28. And it looks like this. And you'll hit the shift lock as well and cut those out. So let's get both of these down. Oops. Gypsy wants to keep turning over. So we're going to take the Tombow adhesive to get this down. Now when you put your glue on here, be very careful because this was cut so small, it's going to be really fine once it cuts. And because I used the Lizyjose watercolor paints, that got the paper wet, which made the paper even more delicate to work with. So once I had colored it in with what I wanted, I then went ahead and heat set it with my heat tool. So I'm going to lay that right within there. And those watercolor paints, or the Lizyjose ones, give it a shimmer. So I know it's hard probably to see on camera, but as I said, once I get them both down, I will bring it up closer to the camera so you can see it, or maybe what I'll do is zoom in so you can see the shine. It really looks beautiful when you look at it. So we'll put the bride down. I'm sorry, the word the, we've already got bride down. And be careful not to get glue on my hands. I'm going to just slide this over just a little bit here and straighten it out. Actually, I need to move it up some because it was touching my B, letter B in bride. So let me zoom in a little. Don't mean to make you dizzy. There we go. So that's basically what it looks like. So now we're going to add the groom. And I'm going to get my glue all the way around. And then I'm going to add the word groom. And then we'll add our the. And this one the word the I had to cut out several times because I kept breaking off the letter E when I would pull it off the mat. And as I said before, I think that was because my mat was too sticky. So there, now we have the groom and the bride. So I'm going to zoom back again. Okay, and we'll finish adding the rest of our pieces. So now, let's talk about the bride. Okay, since we're on the Sweethearts cartridge, let's stick with that, the groom first, because the groom is from the Sweethearts cartridge, and the groom is on page 60, and he looks like this, or like this once you do your paper piecing. So now, to cut this out, you are going to have to do some paper piecing. As I said, if you don't like paper piecing, you're not going to like this. So what I've done and what I've cut out is I cut out the groom and then I cut out the layers. But I've cut the layers several different times to get what I needed as far as to make him look like this. So I'm going to go over each piece. So the first thing we did, or I did, was I cut the groom. And he is cut at 3 1/4 inches. And you don't have to do anything to your real dial size or aspect ratio. You're just going to hit key number 29. and there is the groom. So you'll cut that out, which I did, and I cut him out in the cream color cardstock. And also I cut out his hand because that comes separate, because I wanted to layer the jacket over the hand. That was also cut out in cream color cardstock as well. Now, to do that, when you go to cut your layers, and this is the layers right here, and it's very, very tiny. What you're going to do is you're going to have to do some hiding and hide and contour, or hit your hide and contour key. Now, if you don't have the gypsy, you'll just be cutting these pieces out. Because I have the gypsy and I can use the hide contour, this is what I did because I don't like to waste paper. So, I first initially laid out my layers, and I went to my hide and contour and I cut out the shirt, and I could have hid this as well because really all I wanted was the shirt. But as I started going through, I thought I might make the tux white, and then I changed my mind. So I did do the shirt. I did cut out both, but you don't have to. You can hide and contour all of this. And it does take a minute to hide everything for this because there are many, many pieces within the clothing. So all of this is cut at 3 1/4 inches. So then, over here, I laid it out again, and I went to my hide button, and the tux, his clothes themselves, I cut in black. So I've got the hair and the tux and the little bow tie. And I hid the hand and the shirt. And then I once again laid it out again and cut the hand. I hid everything but the hand. Okay, so you'll lay out your layer again, and there you can see where I've hidden everything but the hand. So like I said, rather than doing this on camera, I just went ahead and pieced my guide together so you wouldn't have to watch me do all of that piecing together. And if you don't like paper piecing, you're not going to like this. Or you could just make it all one color. So the other thing that I've done for the groom is I've taken some glossy accents and put it on the shoe area there. And then for the shirt, I ran the shirt through my Cuttlebug folder, the candy stripe, just to give it some texture within the shirt. So now, what I want to do is, because I do want him to pop up, I'm going to add some foam dots on the back, and we'll add our guy, or our groom. Oh, I want to bring him down just a little bit. Okay, and there we have it. So now let's talk about our bride. Now I took the bride from a different cartridge because I really liked the way this bride was made up on the cartridge. So the bride is actually from the Wrap It Up cartridge, and she is on page 26. And once again, there is paper piecing, but it's not as much as with the groom. So the bride, I cut out this piece right here, and then I cut out the layers, and then the bride shift, or you hit your shift key to get the different color hair. And if you want to get the bouquet, I kept my bouquet the same color at the bottom, but then I added a different color at the top layer. So now let's go to the bride, and we'll go to that cartridge so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to get to the Wrap It Up cartridge, and you're going to hit just your shift. You're just going to hit key number 6. And this is your bride. And what I did was I flipped it on my gypsy because I wanted her to be facing the groom. So she is cut as well at 3 1/4 inches. So I've cut that out, and then I've gone ahead and cut my layers. So you'll hit the shift key and key number 6 because I wanted her hair to be black, so I cut that out, and that's also cut at 3 1/4 inches. And I actually hid that bouquet. And then the other thing is you cut your layers for the hand and across the chest and the face. So for that, you're going to hit the layers button and key number 6, and that's what you get for that. And I did, as I said, flip everything to face the other way. And then for my flowers, you hit key number 6 and you'll get this. So once you've done all that cutting, then you're going to start piecing everything together. And this is what you should come up with. So what I've done is I've taken and ran it through my Swiss Dots Cuttlebug folder, and then used my stickles. And the color that I used was the Stardust. And I just used that on each one of the little dots. And I also put it across her veil and around the neck area here. And then I added just a little face there because I just didn't like it looking so plain. And then for the top layer for my flowers, I took this and I did cut it out in white, and then I just used the Yasutomo paint again to color that in. And then I used the eucalyptus, stickles. So she will be sitting right here. So I want to pop her up as well. So let's get some dimensionals on for her. And once I get my dimensionals on, I'm going to put her on and then I'll be back. Okay, everybody, so I have my bride now on my card, and it looks like this. So now, the last thing that I want to add to the front of the card, and I'm actually going to close it, is I want to add these bells and the sprays that I have. So now, the bells are from the Sweetheart cartridge as well, and they are on page, let's see, let me get out the book. As you can see, I was all over the place with this cartridge, this Sweetheart cartridge, because I really like it. So they are on page 56, and I've cut out the bells and then the layers. So those were cut at 1.5 inches. And let me bring up the gypsy so you can see which key that is. That is key number 25, and it looks like this. So you'll cut out the bell, and then you're going to hit the layers button and cut key 25, and you'll get these. So then, once I had those cut out, I decided to take these sprays that I have, and I purchased these on Zibbit. I don't have the name of the seller right now, but I will put it in the description bar below or somewhere within the video. So I'm going to place those right here at the top. That'll be in the center of the card. So I think I'm going to add this by using the glue gun. So I'll get some glue on the back of here. And then I'm just going to press this down and hold it for just a few seconds, just so it'll stay. And then once I have it glued, then I'll set out my sprays. And I think the last thing I want to add there in the center of my little spray is I have some of the Recollections flowers. So I'm just going to put one right there in the center. And I've already colored these in using my Lizyjose watercolor paints. So I'm just going to get some glue on the back of here and press that down in the center. And then I'm just going to fluff it out just a little bit. Because I originally were going to put these flowers inside the bouquet, but there wasn't enough room. They were actually overpowering the bride themselves, so I decided not to use them, but now I can put one right there in the center. So there is the front of our card. So now for the inside of my card, what I've done is I've taken my Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this is a new color. I used my Stampin' Up! Kiwi Kiss to make my own colored cardstock, and I just took it and ran it across here for the inside. And then the other thing that I'm going to put is I'm going to put in the corners, once again, the corners that I used in the previous wedding card. They're going to go here, and then I'm going to put out the word congratulations. So as far as the sizes, once I have everything inside the card, I'll come back and I'll give out the sizes. Okay, everybody, so I'm back with my finished card. So the only thing that I've done on the front is I went ahead and added some bling right here in the corner on my corners, and I added some bling to represent the bell. And then for the inside of the card, what I've done is I've added these 4 corners, and these also are from the Sweetheart cartridge, and they were cut at let's see, let me make sure that's right. They were cut at 1 3/4 inches, and I hit the blackout and key number 47, so it looks like this. And I've used this on the previous wedding card that I did. Now for the word congratulations, I used the Paper Lace 2 cartridge, and it is on page 64. So what I've cut out is the lace 1 right here, and the lace 1 shadow. And those I cut to fit within the card itself, and that was cut at 1 1/2 inches by 5. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to, 1 1/4 inches by 5. So you'll take your aspect ratio button off, and you'll make your height 1 1/4 and your width 5 inches. And that is going to be key number 44, which looks like this. So that's it for my second wedding card for the wedding that my husband and I have to attend. So in part 2, I'm going to show you what I've done to decorate my envelope for this card. So stay tuned for that.